Hello viewers, welcome to Chris Crime Diaries. This is your Chris Barker. Zack Lefave was a native of Nova Scotia, Canada. He was generous, daring, and extremely energetic. His nephews and nieces adored him as the amusing uncle who enjoyed their company. Zack lived in the town of Yarmouth. It is a small town with a population of only 6,500 people. It was a small community where almost everyone knew everyone else. So when Zack went missing 2 days before his 21st birthday, things didn't look good in Yarmouth. Zack spent the entire day on New Year's Eve 2020 with his friends, playing and partying. He was having the time of his life when they got drunk at a hotel. Zack later went to a house party in Plymouth, Canada, about 15 minutes away from Yarmouth. He'd been invited by an acquaintance, a friend of a friend. Naturally, there were a lot of unknown guests at the party. But that didn't deter him because he was the type of guy who could get along with anyone. Zack stayed at the party for more than an hour before leaving. It's unclear if anyone saw him leave. While it was odd that he left the party minutes before midnight, no one seemed to mind seeing him leave alone. None of them were familiar with Zack. He could have left for any reason, a phone call, an emergency, or simply to puke. Nobody expected things to get out of hand. Zack called one of his friends about 10 to 15 minutes after leaving the party and told them he was walking back home. He also informed his friend that he was in Quinnin, about 25 kilometers from Plymouth and Yarmouth. He never made it home. However, police later discovered eyewitnesses who had seen Zack in Plymouth, which made no sense. How did Zack get to Quinnin so quickly? Or why did he tell his friend a lie? And what became of him? He told his friend he was walking around without his pants on during the strange phone call. While the statement appears strange and concerning, his friend claims Zack did not appear distressed. This, once again, made no sense. It was a cold December evening in Canada. Even if they were drunk, who would do such a ridiculous thing? He simply left more questions than answers. Zack called another friend who wasn't at the hotel partying with his other friends after his first call with his friend. He explained that he was shivering from the cold and that he desperately needed a ride. Zack was still convinced he was in Quinnin at the time. He requested that his friend pick him up from there, but the call ended before he could provide his location. The time was 11:58 p.m. So, at 12:02 a.m. on January 1, 2021, just after midnight, Zack made his third call. He called another friend and told him he was at the house party with some people of color. His friend believed Zack once more. He thought he was safe and having a good time. However, it was later revealed that no people of color attended the party. As a result, nobody knew who Zack was with that night. Or even if he was with anyone that night. Another witness saw Zack walking near a bridge in Plymouth around the same time. Zack appeared to be in Plymouth, assuming to be in Quinnin, walking around clueless, drunk, and cold. Zack called again around 12:07 a.m. He dialed the number of the friend who was supposed to accompany him to the house party. But his friend became ill and was unable to join him. After taking his medications, Zack was fast asleep when he called that friend. As a result, the friend did not return Zack's call. Zack appeared to be desperately attempting to contact someone who could assist him in getting home as soon as possible. Two people walked past Zack around 12:25 a.m. The same person returned to the same road about 30 minutes later, but he did not see Zack. Nobody saw him again. When Zack's family realized he hadn't returned from the party, they became concerned. When he failed to show up for his shift at the grocery store, they knew something was wrong. Zack was never late or skipped work without informing his boss. As a result, the family filed a police report, and the search for Zack Lefave began. Zack's pants were discovered on one of the roads he was seen walking. They discovered his wallet in his pants, and nothing appeared to be missing. They did not, however, locate his cell phone. Because Zack was making all those phone calls, it makes sense. The cops attempted to locate his cell phone, but it was unreachable. When he went missing, either someone turned off the phone or it lost all charge and died. Because Zack enjoyed adventures and outdoor activities, the police looked for clues on the trails he liked to hike. They assumed he was so drunk that he saw a path he liked and began walking. They hoped to find him unconscious on some course, but he was nowhere to be found. The man appeared to have vanished into thin air. Because Yarmouth was a small town, almost everyone knew Zack, and several civilian searches were planned. People formed grids and searched the area from top to bottom. They scoured the area for clues with sniffer dogs, helicopters, and sophisticated equipment. Unfortunately, they discovered nothing. Now, Zack's cousin has obtained his phone records, and she has discovered some disturbing information. Zack had received several missed calls from an unknown number from a blocked location on the night he went missing. But Zack's cousin knew nothing else. She had no idea if the police had any additional information on this lead or if they had even thoroughly investigated it. The police released little information about Zack's case because it is still under investigation. However, based on his strange phone calls, web sleuths and crime investigators have proposed several theories. Unfortunately, none of them involved discovering Zack's whereabouts. Theory 1. The most widely held belief is that Zack died as a result of the elements. It was a cold night, and he was missing his pants. In addition, he was too drunk to make sense of his surroundings. As a result, he most likely died from the cold. However, how he died was a source of contention. Some speculate that Zack huddled under a bush to stay warm and died there, hidden. Others believe he may have fallen off the bridge and drowned in the river. Others speculated that he was killed by a drunk driver and dumped in the river. It was New Year's Eve, and such mishaps were common. So, while it appeared to be a theory, no traces of blood or other forensic evidence were found anywhere. Theory 2. The second theory that has been floated is that there was foul play. Because Yarmouth had a drug problem, some suspected Zack of being involved, and he got into trouble with the big guys. As a result, he was nicked and killed. This theory was fueled by missed calls from an unknown number. Zack's family, on the other hand, claims that he was not involved with drugs. They mean it realistically, not just out of familial love. His family relied on bank records, information about his hangout spots, and conversations with friends to back up their claim. However, it is still possible that he was involved with the wrong people. Theory 3. The third theory is that some thugs offered Zack assistance on the road. It was that time of year when many people were drunk and in a bad mood. In addition, Zack was shivering in the cold, desperate for assistance. As a result, Zack most likely met someone he shouldn't have gone out with and accepted their assistance out of desperation. That person led him to another location, possibly another party, where something terrible occurred. This theory emerged as a result of extensive searching in the area by multiple teams. They discovered nothing. So something bad could happen to Zack somewhere else. The disappearance of Zack devastated his family and the community. They are desperate for answers and the return of their beloved boy. While there are several theories about what happened to Zack, all of them are speculative, and a significant piece of the puzzle remains unsolved. At this point, the police and Zack's family are doing everything possible to locate their son. Zack's family has offered a $30,000 reward for information leading to Zack's capture. They've also created a Facebook page to share updates and raise funds. If you have any information, please contact the Nova Scotia Police Department or crimestoppers.ns.ca. A distant memory, sightings, or an unusual pattern could all be useful. What are your thoughts on the Zack Lefave's case? I really appreciate your input. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Be a part of the Chris Crime Diaries family and hit the subscribe button now.